Hello guys, good evening and welcome back to our third day of our session, which is Advanced JavaScript 0 to Hero. And just let me know in the chat if my audio is clear to you and I'm visible perfectly. Just do let me know in the chat. Yeah, good evening. Here we are. Okay. Let me share my screen also. Okay. So by the way, in today's session, we will be continuing from where we have left yesterday. We will be learning about how to work with promises and what are these promises. More about that event loop kind of thing. And also we will be developing this project basically. And it's a project that our student of our institute have made for particularly for this session also only. So here we have our project that we are going to develop. So here basically it's a weather application which will tell the weather for your location. So no need to go to the Google and look for the weather. Now you can make your own weather application for your personal use. So this is the application we will be developing by using our external API. So there is a server that is going to give us the data, like what is the weather around me. So basically is that. Okay, do let me know. Yes. Okay, that's very great. Audio is very much clear. So now, before starting our today's session, so here we have a project. So it's a very easy project to do. So I think he developed this project in not so much time, but it's a very good project, and one of the student have completed it. So here is my T. Okay. Continuing with our project. Okay. So yesterday, from where we have left, I think we covered the event loop and we covered that micro task queue. I think we have to cover the micro task queue. So let me just give you a quick recap. Let me just give a quick recap, and here is the code that we will be working on. So let me just copy paste this code because I don't want to write this code from scratch. It's going to take a lot of time. So let me just have a backup. So yesterday we came to know about this set timeout function. Yeah, isn't it? We came to know about this set timeout function, which is going to execute some callback, a function after a specific amount of time, isn't it? So this is the function that we came to know about yesterday. So if I do console.log hello, so this function, let me just remove this function. Okay, so this function going to be called after 1 second of time. And let me just give you a quick recap first. If I go over here, let me hide this inner tray. Okay. So if I go to the console panel, and as you can see, it's not working anymore because we have removed our whole JavaScript. So this line of this output we will be getting after 1 second of the time, and 1 second is almost instantaneous. So let me just increase it to 3 seconds. And if I say this, and 1, 2, 3, and after 3 seconds of time, we got this output. Okay. Yes, Neeraj, today is the last day, and today we are going to cover all the things that I promised you. So, because today's topic is also promise, so I'm going to resolve my promise today. It's a joke, basically. If you know about promises, then you will be understanding this. So this is the function, but was something that I haven't told you yesterday. That set timeout is not related to JavaScript. Even console.log. Console.log is not related to JavaScript. Set timeout is also not related to JavaScript. These functions are not in the JavaScript. And also, here is a function called fetch, which is we are going to use the fetch function to fetch the data from the internet. And also that document dot get element by ID. This document, I'm pretty sure that you have used this document to get the elements, get the things from the that HTML. So it is not also from the JavaScript. So these things are called basically the web APIs. These things are called the web APIs. And if they are not a part of JavaScript, then why we can use them? Because the web browser provide us with this. So basically this web browser, my Chrome browser, is providing me these functions basically. So this is the thing that I have not told you yesterday, just to prevent the whole complexity. But you can take it as a part of JavaScript. It won't hurt you. So you can take it as a part of JavaScript. Okay. So this was about the set time function, and what was actually happening, that call stack was created, and the call stack, first of all, this whole program started, and a global execution context was put into this call stack. And here was memory part and the code part. There is nothing to store in the memory, but there's something in the code part. As soon as it encounter this line, it will send this function in the background, in that web. Okay, and in the background, this function will wait for 3 seconds, and after 3 seconds of time, this callback function will wait inside the callback queue. It will wait inside the callback queue. An event loop will be sitting here and will be monitoring that if the call stack is empty, then only it will allow all the functions that are waiting in the callback queue to get executed. And as soon as you can see, there is nothing more left to execute. So this global execution context will pop out. It will get deleted, and this function which was waiting inside the callback queue will get chance to execute. So this is a thing that we came to know about yesterday. Now I'm going to tell you about one more thing, the last thing, which is called promises. So promises in JavaScript is like promises in real life. So you can create a promise. So let's just create a promise first, where p equals to new promise. Promise. Okay. So let me just create a promise. So here we have a promise. Okay. This promise can take, and don't worry if you are like, you are wondering what is this new keyword and new promise. Most of the time you won't use this kind of syntax. It's a very, very advanced case, and it is not possible to cover the promises whole the working of. Basically, it's a class. So we are not covering classes of JavaScript in this session. That's why. But basically, in a nutshell, it's a thing to create a new promise. Just remember, it's like that. We're not going to use this thing, but I'm just trying to give you a perspective how promises are actually created. So inside this, you have to pass a function with 2 parameters, resolve and reject. Okay. And here we can resolve something or we can reject something. So let me just do something, resolve. Hello. Okay, that's all. So I'm just going showing you the syntax now how we can use this. If I do p dot then and something like data, just bear with me, don't worry, I'm going to explain everything. P dot then value, and here let me just close this. So this is the promise. Basically I'm just showing you the syntax and all, and here we will get hello output. Okay, so this is the thing, but let's just try to understand what is actually happening here. So promise is a special kind of data type. For now you can take it as promise is a special kind of data type, as we had a string. So where str equals to hello, so it's a string. Then we could have num equals to 10. Similarly, we have a data type called promises. Basically classes are promises, that's why. So we have a special data type called promises. And how to create a promises? Pro equals to new promises. So this is the way by which we can create a promise. Once you have created a promise, so we could use this number variable, just like logging out this num. Okay, we could have added two numbers, num plus 100. We could have done this, but in the case of promises, what you can do pro dot then. Okay, pro dot then. So this is the dot then thing will get executed if this promise get resolved. Okay, if this promise get resolved. And we can also do pro dot catch pro dot catch, and this line of the code will get execute only if the promise is rejected. So this is the case. Only this is the case. All you have to understand this thing, that this is the way to create a new promises, but we are not going to create a promises. But there are some functions, there are some things that is going to return as a promise. Okay, there are some things that is going to return as a promise. So how we can use a promise? Just you have to do dot then promise dot then, or you can do promise dot catch. In the case of promise dot then, if that promise got resolved successfully, then we will get this output, and if the promise got rejected, we will get this output. Okay, let me just show you a real example how to use this. So let me just go to our uh, okay. So here is a website called requestresponse.in, and here we have our API. Okay, let me just refresh this. Sir, in JavaScript, why we often use ID, why we don't use class instance? Neeraj, actually, it completely depends on your project and your coding style. IDs are a little bit easier to manage because IDs are unique, but classes are not, and classes can, so it can lead to some unwanted errors. So let's suppose you have created a division with class something like wrapper, okay, and by mistake somebody have used that exact class wrapper somewhere else also. So it could lead to some unwanted errors. So that's why we mostly we use IDs, because IDs are going to be unique. That are we sure. Hmm. Okay. Okay. So if I let us go to our code, and if I do fetch, okay, fetch is a function. Fetch is a function inside which we have to pass a URL. So fetch is a function that we got from the web API, but don't worry about that. Fetch is a function in JavaScript. Okay. Inside it, we want to pass a URL. It's a URL of a server which is going to return us something. So if I pass this exact URL here, so I'm going to get this data. So we can get this data and we can use this data into our UI. That is the thing I have done to create this web application. My student actually have used this to create this web application. Now we can store this. We can store the result in a variable. Okay. So, okay, let me do data equals to fetch, data equals to fetch, and here we have the URL. Okay, here we have the URL, and fetch function is going to fetch the data from this URL, and it's going to store the data inside this variable called data. Okay, now let me just do a console.log for the data variable, console.log for the data. Okay, console.log for the data. And if I go in my console panel, here will we see that we are not getting any data. Here we are not getting the data. We are getting a promise. So this is the thing that we have to resolve. Okay. So if I give a marker here. So okay. So as I told you, fetch is a function where we pass a URL, and in this URL, basically fetch function is gonna fetch the data. Okay. That's why it's obviously that's the reason why this function name is fetch. So this fetch function is going to fetch the data from this server, basically this server URL, and it's going to store the details inside this variable. Okay, all the details, all the data it got from that server to a variable. Okay, and I tried to console log this variable, but to our surprise, we were getting no, we were not getting any data. We were getting a promise. Okay, we are getting a promise. So that's why I told you that we can do now data dot then. So we can use dot then on other promise. Yes. So because it's a promise. That's why we can do data dot then. So if I do, and in this then we have to pass another function that is going to execute if this promise got resolved. So in then we pass a function, okay, a callback function. That's why I covered the callback function in the first session, because callbacks are the soul for JavaScript. So that's why I told you about the callbacks in the very beginning. So here we have to pass another function that is going to execute function that is going to execute. Okay, we got the data. We have the data. So here we are having that we are executing this function if we got the data successfully from the internet. Okay, and if I go to our console panel, okay, so we are getting the console.log. Yes, we have got the data. But similarly, for any case, like if your network is not working properly, if you have provided the wrong details, or if server is not even responding, in that case we can use dot catch. Inside us again we have to pass a function that is going to execute console.log, okay, which is going to execute if we are not getting the data, okay. So this is the two things that we can do on a promise. So this was the promise. Basically, fetch function returned a promise. It never returned whole data. It was actually returning a promise, and we can, after this, we can change this data dot then, basically promise dot then, and this function, the callback function inside the then, will get execute after some time. Basically, we are not going to get the data immediately because internet speed is variable, so we won't get the result immediately. So this function will get execute if we get the data successfully. On the other hand, this function will be get executed if we don't get the data successfully, and at a time any one of them will be will execute, obviously, because we can get the data or we cannot get the data. There is nothing in between of them. So here, as I can as we can see, we are getting, we have the data, but let's just throw a error, okay. Let me just do something like this, okay. So here I am misspelling this, okay. If I go over here and let's just remove it to x, something like this, and if I save this, now we are getting the error, okay. Now we are getting the error. Why? Because I have provided a wrong URL, because nothing like this even exists. So that's why I'm getting the error here. Now this function is actually executing not this callback function. Not this function is not executing because this does not exist at all. I have just typed a jargon here. So that's why this part is going to be executed. So let me go in the chat and do let me know that you are getting the things till now. If I refresh, okay. Okay. Okay, that's great if you're getting the things. Now let's move a little bit ahead. Okay, let me just give you one more thing. Now if in the case of correct URL, we are getting the data, but where is the data? Like, where is the data? I can find the data. This thing is a promise, so we cannot get basically information from here. So where is the data? So first of all, let me just rename this data to something else, because this thing is not a data. It's a promise. Promise that fetch made, okay. Fetch have made. So promise that fetch have made, let me just use that snake case, so it's easier for us to understand. Fetch and given, okay. So promise that so it's actually promise, okay. So I'm just going to write it promise. So now promise dot then and promise dot catch, okay. It's making sense to us because it's not actually the data. Fetch is returning a promise, okay, and it's saying that sometime somewhere after some time I'm gonna resolve it or I'm gonna give you an error, okay. It's not giving us the data. So where is the data? So if in the case of successful call, if in the case that we have received the data successfully, this callback function was executed inside this parameter, okay. This function can have a parameter and we can get the data here. So if I just do response here, you can name it data, okay. Now I'm doing data here. So okay, we can get the data here, and let's just console log this data. Let's see if we're getting the data or not. So if I go over here to our console panel and let me just refresh it. So the console, okay. So here we are getting our data. Here we have our data. Basically, it's a response type. So we have the data. And in the case of error, if there is any error, we are going to get the error in this function as the first parameter. So I can just log out what is the error. We can also find out what is the error. So if I just do mistype here and save this, now we are going to get what is the actually error is happening. So here's it's saying error, type error, failed to fetch. Okay, fetch is saying that I have failed to fetch the details. So here this is the case. This function can have data in a first parameter, and in second case it can have the details of error in its first parameter. So this is all about promises. So if you got everything till now, so this is all about promise. It's completed. So that's all. So now we are good to go. And just let me tell you one thing. So this is also an example of asynchronous JavaScript. This is also an example of asynchronous JavaScript. So if I do a console.log hello, if I do a console.log of hello, let's see that we are getting hello first, and after that we have the data. Even though I have written we got the data before. So as you can see, if I go over here, so even though we have executed the fetch function, we have done the promise.then, promise.catch before console logging the hello, still we are getting hello first, and after that we are getting the data. This is because internet speed is not stable. If so basically JavaScript is what JavaScript actually is doing is, as soon as it encountered this line of code, it's going to throw it in the background, and in the background it will fetch the data. While in the background this fetch function is getting the data and returning us a promise, our JavaScript continues. It doesn't stop. It don't wait for anyone. It just executed. And the same case apply here also. Until and unless the callback queue, that call stack is empty, this function won't get a chance to execute. So in the background, just assume in the background, here we have 1,000 line of code. Okay, just assume here we have 1,000 line of code. For that purpose, let me just create a for loop for let I equals to 0 until and unless I is less than 10 or something, less than 100,000 line of code. Until and unless this part of the code got completed, this function was waiting in the callback queue, to get executed. Okay, so same as it was happening for the set timeout. Okay, same as, so, and anywhere where there is no pre-decided thing that how much time it would take to execute, or in the case where the some part of the code may take some time, it mostly goes back to the callback queue. So it JavaScript perform all these tasks in the background, and event loop will sit here and will keep monitoring the call stack and the callback queue. As soon as the call stack is empty, it will let all the functions that were waiting inside the callback queue to execute one by one. So this is the case. And if we can see this also in our here. Okay, so as you can see, if I refresh, here we can see we are getting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All the loops, whole loop got executed first, and at the very end, let me just show you. At the very end, we got that, okay, we have the data. Even though in the background we got the data like within seconds. But first, our call stack have to get empty, got to get empty first, and after that, after only this part of the function got executed. So okay, so this was the case. And if you're wondering that how you will know that which function will go into the callback queue, first of all, before that, let me just tell you one thing, that all this function won't get into the callback queue. It will get inside the micro task queue. So there are two task queues. One is called callback queue that we previously understood tomorrow, and we have the micro task queue. Okay, so that's all. There is no difference. In both the queues. The only difference is the micro task queue have the higher priority. So all the function present inside the micro task queue will get chance to execute before all the function that are in a callback queue. So if we have a function a, b, c, and x, y, z. So a, b, c functions are waiting in the micro task queue, and the functions x, y, z are waiting in the callback queue. And now, if the call stack is empty, so event loop will give this a chance first. Okay, because it was waiting in the micro task queue. So a will execute, then it will b will be executing, then c, and only if all the micro task queue is empty, then all the functions inside the callback queue will get chance to get execute. And now I'm gonna tell you how to know which function will go where. So all the promises will go inside the micro task queue. That's very easy to understand and done. Only the promises will go inside the micro task queue. That's all. And all the other callback function will get inside the callback queue. That's all, completed. So function could be set timeout, okay, set time interval. So they will get inside the callback queue, and all the promises will get inside the micro task queue. That's all. So we have completed the event loop, completely. Okay, so this is the whole concept. The only small difference was that the promises will go inside the micro task queue and rest is same. And the difference between the micro task queue and the callback queue is that the micro task queue have the higher priority. So if I have something like this, set timeout, set timeout, and I have written a function here. Okay, okay. So if there is a function which is going to execute immediately, console.log, hello, I am time out. Okay, time out. And if I save this, and if I do a console.log of normal code, okay. So now here we have a set timeout function which is going to wait for 0 seconds, and then we have a promise that is going to be get resolved. And here we have a normal code. Let me just wait for 1000 milliseconds. Okay, 1000 milliseconds. If I go inside the console panel, okay. So as you can see, we are getting the normal code first. Then we got the thing called we have the data, and after that, hello, I am a timeout got executed. So this is the whole thing. Okay, that's all. We can make any asynchronous Java code to synchronous. Okay, just let me answer. Can I use where here? Yeah, sure, yeah, sure. Neeraj, you can use the where. You can use where anywhere. You can use the where anywhere. Let is just a replacement of where basically. Promise based like a set amount. Yes, exactly. So Suraj Singh Rajput, yes. Promises behave like a set amount function. That's all. The only difference is they have the higher priority. So the data fetching thing have the higher priority than any timeout. So that's all. Okay. Use of resolve keyword. Protham Bajaj. Basically, where we have the resolve keyword, we don't have written resolve. So resolve is basically when you create your own promise, then we use the resolve. But that's not necessary to understand. If you know the working of the promises, that's more than enough. Neeraj saying, can you repeat in short? Okay. Just let me know the part from where you want to get the repetition. Then I will give you a quick recap. So now, as we have completed the promises, now what I'm going to do, let's start making our project. Okay. So here I have project, and to a surprise, we have used the that fetch API, and that's the core thing. So let me remove everything here and let me save this. So now we have a blank API, this blank page, nothing is here written here. So nothing is here. It's just a UI, and I'm going to share you the code also. Okay. So basically, I'm going to share you the original repo because this project was developed by our own, the student of our institute, and he is a very talented guy. So he did this for me. So here we have. So here we have a basic HTML. Now what I'm going to do, first step is to I'm going to grab all the elements. Okay. So here we have a API key that I will let you know afterwards. So here I'm doing document.get element by time. So here we have basically some IDs. Okay. So here we have some divisions and AM/PM time classes and all. So I'm just grabbing all the elements here. Okay. So here we are grabbing all the elements. That's only the part. Okay. After this, we have basically two array. Here we have two array for date and time. So the use case of this array I will let you know. So here I have an array of all the days basically Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, so that we can show what is the actually the time is. And then we have for the month. Okay, that's all. And after that, let's just create the clock first. Okay, so basically we have a clock also, so let's just create a clock first. To create a clock, all we have to do is to create set time interval, set time interval, set time interval. So basically what set time interval will do, it will get executed after a specific amount of time. So I'm going to execute this a function. I'm going to execute a function after 1 second of time. Okay, so after every 1 second, this function will get execute. Okay, console.log, I will get execute. Okay, I will get execute. every second. Okay, I will get execute every second. And if I go to our console panel, you can see that we are going to get this output. I will get execute every second. I will get execute every second. If I haven't misspelled the set time interval, where is the set time interval? Okay, I think okay, set interval, not time interval. Sorry for that. Set I just got miss that. Okay, so I will get execute every second. This function is getting executed every second. For that, inside this function, let us get the current date and current time. So const time equals to new date. So this is the way by which we can get the current time. What has happened? Let me just clear out. Okay, so where time equals to new date. Okay. Oh my God, what is happening? New date. And if I just do a console log for time, so it's going to give us the current time every second. It's going to give us the current time every second. So here I'm getting set Saturday, June 11. Here we have the time. Then we have the time standard and all. Each and every second we are getting the time. Why? Because this function is getting executed every second. So every second we are getting, we are taking the current time, then we are logging it out. Then we are getting the current time and we are getting logging out. So this is basically now we have to get the current month. Okay. So what is the current month? So this is the function to get the correct month. To get the current month, all you have to do time dot get month. So by this we can get the current month. So let me just show you in console.log. Console.log. So we want to show the time month as well. That's why. So here we are getting the month in number. Basically, so it's 6th month. So basically January, February, March, April, May, June. So it's June. So and January index is 0. So 0 for January, 1 for February. So that's why as similarly December will be 11. So we are getting the current month, which is 5 and which is June. So this is the way we can get that. This is the way we can get the current month. So that's why we have this array. So now we can convert our number into the name just by using our months array. So the months array gonna contain all the. So let's just go over here. And what is the month on the 5th index? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the 5 index, we got the June. So that's why we have an array for the month. So if I just go over here and do what? Months in the array, if I type 5 here, we will get June. Okay. So June. And what is the correct? And from where I got this 5? From our time dot get month. So if I do where correct month equals to this, and all we have to do is write current month here. Now we are going to get the current month. Okay. So June. Similarly, we are going to get the year, where year current year. Okay. Then we have the current year. Then we get the current exact movement of the time. So as you can see, we have done same thing here. Month, we are getting the month. Then the date. Day also. What is the day of today? It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we can also get the day. So let's just got the day. So let me just do where current day equals to time dot get day. So similarly, we can get the day from here. So for that you can do this days dot current day. Okay. So now we are going to get June and Saturday, June, Saturday, June, Saturday. And now we can get so this is the way we got we can get the minute also. So let you can get the minute also. And I'm not going to type each and everything. Let me just do a copy paste here. So by this we are getting everything. Okay. Now this we are getting the date, AM, PM also. So if the current hour, if the so how to get the AM, PM? If the current hour, because the time we will get the time in 24 time format, 24 hours of time format. If you want to convert into AM, PM, you can do it very easily. If the hour is lesser than 12, then it is going to be PM, and if it's greater than 12, it's going to be AM. It's not related to JavaScript, it's related to time zone thing. Okay, so you should know this, that if you want to convert 24 hours time into AM, PM, you have to do this thing. Okay, So it's not related to JavaScript at all. And after that, all we have did is we have created all we have created is the time dot element one. So here we have this time element. Okay, time dot element one here. So let's just find this time. Okay, so if I go over here, so here we have the time. So all we have did is placed everything inside this box. Okay, that's all. So here we have a inner HTML, and inside this we have written the inner HTML. Nothing fancy, so fancy here. It's we have created that inner HTML. So it's not related to this project. So it's the basic JavaScript. And after that, let me just do this also. So if I just save this, you can see. If I save this, we are getting the time, the exact time here. Okay. And if you also want to show the current year and month also, you let me just do this for this. So date, for the date part. So in the HTML, here we have the date division. So inside this date division, all we have done in our HTML, and we have pasted the date, current month and the year. And we got the current month and year from here. So we have the month, and we also had the year. So where is the year? I think we haven't shown the year. So if I go over here, so we're getting Saturday 11th of June. So that's all. So let me know in the chat. Okay. Neeraj, I'm gonna share you the basically the code through the GitHub repo, and also you will find the code in the group. Okay. Okay, I think there is a function called console.clear. Console.clear. So it will clear out everything. I think this is the function. So why we want to use this? So it's just gonna clear the console. Okay. So yeah, okay, the console was cleared. So you can use console.clear to clear all the previous outputs. So we have created a clock by using asynchronous JavaScript. Okay, by using asynchronous JavaScript. So basically, this function is going to execute every second, and every second it's going to get the current date, current time, and it's going to update on the screen. So this is the logic. So this is the, as you can see, time is updated to 7:10. So now let's just get the current weather details. Okay, and you have to fill all the details. Okay, I'm just going to give you the data from the API, and your task is going to be to fill all the details. So in the UI, it's not going to be so difficult. All you have to do, like a document dot inner HTML, and you have to paste all the elements on the data into the UI. It's not the objective of our class. We have to understand asynchronous JavaScript, because I'm pretty sure that you know about how to do inner HTML, inner text, and all these kind of things. So I'm not going to waste time here. Okay. So let me just make a function get weather data. Okay. So I'm going to create a function called get weather data. Inside this, first we have to get the current location. Okay. And how to get the location? So here we have a function called navigator.geolocation.getCurrentPosition. So it's a function that JavaScript provides us. So by this, I can get the current location, and inside this you have to pass a callback function. Okay. So inside this we have to pass a callback function. Let me just pass a function here. So if we get the location, we are going to get the data here. Okay. So if I just do a console.log success. Okay. So if this is, and let me just execute this function, get weather data. So let's just, I have created the function here, and now I have executed the function. Here I've created a function and I have executed a function. Inside this function, what I have done, I have got the current position. Okay. To get the current position, my current geo position, you have to use this navigator.geolocation.currentPosition function. And inside this, you have to pass a callback function, which will fire as soon as this code get the current position of the user. So let me just paste this code here, and you will get the current position details inside this first parameter. So as I have told you about the callback function, it's also a callback function. For that, if I refresh, and if I go over here, so here I have got my current position. Okay. So I'm getting my current position is latitude and longitude. So if you know about the globe, we have latitudes and longitude, and it's my exact position. Okay, so it's my exact position where I'm sitting right now. So we have got the location. Okay, so okay. So that's okay. I will share the source code. No worries. Okay, I will share the source code. So that, sir, we can get the update time in a single sentence. Yes, you can update a sign in a single sentence. Yes. Okay, Tanu. There are a bunch of projects that you can do for practice, and to be honest, if your goal is to become a professional developer, like if you want to pursue your career in a web development, in a mobile development, or in general, if you want to be a software engineer, you have to get proper guidance. Otherwise, you will be banging your head around here and there. So, with proper guidance, to be honest, like this thing I have came to know about personally when I was in college. So it took me more than a month to understand these concepts that you have understood it within 3 days. So yes, I'm so jealous of you that you understand these concepts in 3 days, and I have to bang my head on wall for about a month. So this is the fact. Anyways, moving with. So now we have my current position. So here we have a API. Okay, so this is a API which we can use to get the data of the weather. So obviously I cannot generate the data, weather data, just by my laptop. So there is a open weather API, and you can also visit them. So as I was using that request response API, so you can also just go over here and register. So they will give you basically this endpoint. They will give you this endpoint, and in this endpoint, all you have to pass a key that website will provide you, and inside this you have to pass the current position. And you will get the weather for that current position. So let us do this exactly. Okay, so if I go over here, if I just go over here and I'm using fetch, okay, because we are fetching the data from the web server, okay, a server somewhere around the world. So I'm using this fetch function, because what fetch functions do? Fetch actually fetches the data for us. So now here I have to pass the latitude. So where is the latitude? The success dot latitude. Okay, we have success dot latitude. If here we have, let me just go over here and remove this. Let us see where, because success is an object. Inside this object, we got our latitude and longitude. Inside this, we are getting the details inside the chords. Okay, so we are going to get the details success dot chords dot latitude and success dot chords dot longitude. Okay, success dot latitude, success dot longitude, and at the end we have to pass the API key. So here I have my API key. It's not my API key, so make your own. It's the API key of that student who have made this project for us. Okay, so now let me store this thing inside a variable called promise. Because fetch is not going to give us the data, it's going to give us a promise. Look, brother, I'm not sure that I'm gonna get the data. I'm promising you, and just wait for all the things. So promise dot then, okay, so I'm not gonna use promise dot then, okay, and inside this execute a function, this function, if we got the data, okay, if we got the data, okay, got the weather data, got the data, and I'm gonna pass a second function, promise dot catch, okay, in the second parameter, and this will execute if we got the error. Okay, the error, sorry, we failed, sorry, couldn't get the data. And let us see that we are getting the data or not. So if I just refresh, so yes, we are getting the data. And where we can find the data? In the first parameter. Let me just make this response. Okay, we are getting the response. That's why I'm typing it response. And let us just console log the response. Okay, so here we got the response. Okay, and to convert this data, so again response, okay, so response also don't contain the data basically, but we can get the data. So to get the data, all you have to do response dot to JSON. Okay, so all you have to do, if it's a response, okay, so we got the response, and it's a basically it's just a boilerplate code that you have to do. Okay, for now it's a boilerplate code to do. So in the response, if to get the data from the response, okay, so this function will get execute, this function will get execute if we get the response, okay, from the internet. So to get the data from the response, all you have to do like response to JSON, okay, response dot JSON, and we will get the data in the format that we can understand. So we will get a proper object, and all we have to do is to pass this data to dot then, and let me just give you a better way to do this. Again, this response dot to JSON will return us a promise. So let me just console.log. Okay, so let me just do console.log of data. Now we are going to get the data. So if I just do this, and if I just go over here, okay, so we are getting a promise. So this thing is not getting us the data, it's going to the promise. Yes, I know. Basically, the fetch is the it's the default function that Web API provides. So it's not so good with fetching the data. There is one more extra step that we have to do, but you can use Axios, okay, instead of this. So Axios, it's like third-party library that you can use. But just bear with me. So we know what to do with response promises. So we can do data.then, and here I have to pass the function. I'm going to recap everything here. Okay, don't worry. And now we are going to get the actual data. And if I just do a console.log actual data, now we are going to get the actual data. So here I have the actual data, that my current temperature, humidity, pressure, at which time sun will rise, and here is we have the report for every day, like for next 7 days. I think we have the data for next 10 days or something. Yes, we have. Okay, we have the weather data for next 7 days also. So this is the way we can fetch the data from the internet. Okay, and don't worry. First step is to always to make a console.log and check if we are getting a promise. So here we were getting the promise. Okay, here we were getting the promise again. So that's why what we have done, we have just write data.then and the function. So basically, this is the thing that most of the people get confused with. But all you have to do is to type this thing, because if you are using Axios or something like that, in that case, you don't have to do make use of this line. You will directly get the data. But you have to make use of this, because fetching the data from the internet is not a single is not possible without the promises. So do let me know in the chat if you understand 50-60% of the thing, because I'm gonna give you a quick recap. What is chords? Sir, can you show an example of Axios? Okay, okay. Let me just okay. Let me just give you an example of Axios also. So how to install the Axios? So you can install Axios from CDN, Axios, CDN, and if I just go over here, all you have to do is to copy this script. Okay, copy this script, go to your HTML and paste this trick here and save this. Now I can use Axios instead of the fetch. So let me just comment out everything. Let's just use promise Axios instead of fetch. So it's also, and what is chords? Basically, chords is nothing. Basically, we are getting success is the object. Okay, so we were getting the my current position detail inside this success object. Okay, so basically, relevant time current position. So this current position is an object. Okay, this current position is an object which is the object basically, and it contains all the details. So let me just go over here and let me just show you. So somebody asked what is this chords is. So if I go over here in the console panel, so you can see, so it's an object. Inside this object we have a property called chords. Okay, in this chords we have my latitude and longitude. So that's why I have write current position dot chords dot latitude and dot longitude. So that is chords. Okay, so let us use Axios. So in the Axios, all you have to do const promise, it's going to be same. Axios dot get. Okay, so this is the syntax by which so it's going to replace the fetch. Okay, it's going to replace the fetch. And rest is same. Rest is exactly same. So let me just copy this thing, our URL, and let us paste the URL here. Okay. Now what we have to do? Promise. Okay. Promise.then console.log response. Okay. Or basically the data, and also promise.catch the error and console.log error. So that's all. So basically, it's easier to do with Axios. Okay. We basically, so let me go over here, console, and if I just refresh, I think I have mistyped the web API. Let me just use the Firefox. I have done a little bit of typing mistake in the Axios, I think, in that URL part. Allow, and you have to allow for your location first of all. You cannot get the location directly. Browser will ask you to allow information. Okay. Success is not defined. Okay, sorry, I have made a typo. Where is success? Okay, so here we have the current position dot coords, coords latitude, current position dot log latitudes. And if I go over here, so here we get the details. Okay, here we got the details, and now we have to convert this thing into if I go over here, so here we have the data. Okay, so we have the data. So if I type response, so we have the data inside response.data. Response.data, we have our whole detail. So response is the object which contain everything. Response is the object that we get. Okay, and here I'm using the arrow function. You can replace this with this. Okay, the regular function, or you can use the arrow function. Sorry for that mistake. Basically, I have a habit of using arrow functions. That's why. Okay. If I go over here and let us see that we are getting the data or not, let me just refresh. Wait for a while. Okay, so we got the data, whole data, like my current weather condition. Okay, and the daily weather condition. So what is going to be the temperature today? So let me, the pressure is 35 and temperature is 33.21. So it's not so cold outside. So that's and not so hot outside. And clouds is going to be 40. Yes, it's cloudy. So this is the weather. Okay, and now all we have to you have to do is to fill up everything inside the UI. So for that, let me just so for that we have a function called show weather data. Inside this, all you have to pass the data like humidity, pressure, sunrise, sunset, and wind speed. And all I have done here, you have to just make a division and all put inside the basically put inside the HTML, and that's all. We have completed everything. So if I go over here, and you can see that we are getting all the weather reports here. Okay, so we were getting the all, like, see, as you can see, what is going to be temperature today. Wind speed is 7.2 miles per hour, pressure is this, and humidity is 35%, and at day temperature is 36.13 degrees Celsius. Night is going to be 28. I think by mistake here placed the negative sign here. So this is all about promises. Okay, that's all. Is this project, how can we get to know that we are getting object are there? All you have to do is just a console.log. That's all. Just log out the thing and you can see what you are getting. So console.log is very powerful. So just log out the thing and see what you're getting. Okay. So before ending the session, I would like to tell you about the whole course that in which we cover everything. And UI is responsive. I think it's responsive. Inspect element. Yes, it's responsive a little bit, and you can do rest of the work. So it's not so much responsive. Yes, it is responsive. I feel like yes, it is responsive. So okay. So I'm gonna share you this code also. And the thing is, like, if you want to make a project like this and a better project like this, a complete whole project, so you for that just visit letsupgrade.com .in, and here you will find our all the courses. Just sign up. Okay, and sign up. You will find all the essential courses here, and also our full stack program, which contains more than 15 projects, a real world project, and the mentors. We are going to guide you, and in that course we are going to cover each and everything in very deep, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And in the class, I mostly teach in the language that you feel most comfortable with. We are more of like friends. As I told you, we are not teachers, we are also developers. So you're not getting taught by a teacher or professor. You're going to taught by the person who's actually working in the industry, who have the knowledge, who have real hands-on with. Okay, so this is the whole USP of our whole program, and I hope I will see you in the class. Okay, so thank you for joining, and I will share you the code, and you will get the source code in the in the group. If you have signed up, just sign up and you will get the source code for this project. Okay, and thank you again for joining me, and giving me a chance, and giving Let's Upgrade a chance, and your precious time. And I hope you have enjoyed and learned something new, and enjoyed the session. Okay, so thank you again, and bye bye, and good night.